Hello and welcome back to Pillars of Eternity. So, if we check our little inventory here, or our little quest log, we actually don't have that much left to do. We have Fragments of a Shattered Faith, which is bring Edir to speak to Merwald, which is also our main quest. We have the Trials of Durance, which spend time traveling with Durance, which, I mean, we'll probably do. And Lord of a Barren Land, which is travel to Redric's Hold. So I think we're going to talk to Durance, then we're going to head off to Redric's Hold. We are actually very close to leveling, and that makes us level 5, which in a traditional kind of RPG thing, like if this was D&D, level 5 would be pretty good, I imagine. So let's just speak to Durance and see if we can get that little bit of experience. Like if his quest finishes, which one I'm looking for? If his quest finishes and gives us the experience, that would be great. If it doesn't, we may want to head up to Redric's Hold and just see if there's anything around, or what might also be a good option is heading down to Madmar Bridge, which we unlocked, and seeing whether there's anything there that we can have a look at, or maybe over to Caed Nu and do that quest until we reach level 5, and then head back to Redric's Hold. Anyway, Durance. Hello. Your face is full of need, Durance snorts. It looks to burst if you didn't speak. I have questions.
If doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skinning your knuckles on the wrong door.
Okay, reaching its history? I want to know more about the Salvation. Dyrwood's the best of them. Still has spirit if the land can have one. It's a place where men can walk freely, even make new roads, and that's a rare thing in this world. Its generations, however, are damned, so no new footfalls may spell an end to it. Have we already done this? Because they say, do you mean the hollowborn? I think we've already talked about that, right? Yes, we have. Okay. Yes, and then he must have more to say if we know more about him.
I suspect the answers will seed more questions.
Okay, Magram. Okay. Oh, you know her, you must. He gives a bitter chuckle, his tone evens out. She's a many-headed bitch. What's your view of Magram?
She's a goddess, as fickle as they come. And with all the failings you'd expect of an empress and a whore. Too many eyes, too many wants, too much to hold on to. That's the failing of a god. More aspects than words to describe her, like most of them. A god with many nations to oversee, only serves to spread herself too thin.
Although flame rarely crosses twice, so perhaps that is the only truth she embraces. Who knows, gods get greedy. When it comes to fire, fire is a god's hunger. What are her aspects? Durance begins to count on his fingers, chanting it off. War transforms, fire consumes, trials purify, warfare, fire consuming, purification, and most of all, transforming. Trials as well, but all things are put to the test anyway. A trial can consume, purify, transform. They're all linked, although at its heart is the flame, and the flame is what matters. It is the source of all things. Guess they should have started with that, eh? If any fool around a campfire knows that. Without flames and fire, we would make little progress in the dark. To hear some of the inner fires tell it around the hearth and bellows, even in the halls of Ashfall, you'd think the fire brought life to man, and that fire was Magram. Some of the older texts say she rubbed her hands together and they burst into flames. Or another god shafted her like a poker. So there are different perspectives on her then? He grunts. Mine is only one sight among many. Durance frowns, pauses, then his eyes take on an eager gleam. But here's one. I can speak to how the losing side sees her, and that should tell you enough. Let me speak to what an Edirian sees. If we were an Edirian, we'd be able to speak about this. But we're not. So what does an Edirian see? The Edirians have a proper, polite translation for her. Excellence in war, tactical discipline. He snorts. That's why they lost the fucking colony, of course. They were properly still quoting that. They were properly still? That should be probably, right? Or was it, maybe it's properly, it's still quoting that while we had them bent across the decks. All their guns and cannons are fine, but unless your staff is crackling light into their skulls, dispensing red gifts left and right. But useless when you're... whatever. Durance fist tightened and then he laughs. Ederians call that elevation, divine awareness. Those words are as welcome as shit on one's boots, and that's why they took back with them while... That's all they took back with them while they were running. He shakes his head. A lesson learned at the wrong time. Almost feel a pang of sympathy for them. Almost. Lesson? What do you mean? The title of a god isn't knowing a god, adhering to words rather than walking the path, testing yourself in the heat of it. Walk until the words are stripped away and you feel it burning in your heart. That is the lesson. That Ederian politeness, that pretty adherence to the word of scripture as they saw it, that burnt their ships, scarred them, kept them running throughout the Dyrwood campaign. He snorts. Divine awareness. There's no true faith in waiting to be tested. The best in battle have already shit themselves plenty. Shit themselves until they're dry and can focus on the killing. Alright. I have more questions.
I suspect the answers will seed more questions.
Yeah, okay. Does she have any allies?
Some, shaped for hunt and war. Abidan the Golem. Galawain and his beasts. The latter keeps us honest and awake. The other makes the tools by which we punish those who are not.
Abaddon? Not surprised you haven't heard. More gods than weeds in the fields, and those are the only ones of this lifetime. They come and go, but are always here at the same time. Abaddon used to look human, Durance grunts. Got killed and built a new body for himself, transformation with Magram's help. Perhaps she needed her own blacksmith to tend the fires. If so, Abaddon serves it. Durance frowns. He's a weapon, a tool, not a god in my mind. Still, the people of Dyrwood, the cities especially, hold him dear, so be it. Although if the reward for hard work and craftsmanship is a body like his, I'll keep my blood and my cock and hips to thrust it with. You also mentioned Galawain? Monster father, the great hound, and as for monsters, this world has quite a bit, and not just the ones on two legs. It's as if he's made monsters solely to hunt them, to remind men of their place. He's busy making more, I suspect, more monsters in sense variation upon variation. Ugh. What do you mean? His aspects are a confusing bunch. And considering he respects reversals of fortune, especially in beasts, perhaps not so confusing. No reason why Magram and he share a bed in my eyes, even if he does believe in the trial. A filthy Orlan god in many ways, howling and mewling, perhaps like they do. They can keep their beasts, I'll take fire and weapons any day. We would definitely have something to say if we were in Orlan, but we're not, so I want to ask something else. Who are our enemies? Do you have whale's eyes painted on your skin? There's more mysteries than questions, and even marching force of answers won't placate you. Even soldiers need to let their thoughts settle, just as their priests do. Oh, hey. Well, we're done with the talking. I guess we're off to Redick's hold, and we'll hope that we hit level 5 as we make our way there. Because I'd really like to be another level higher before actually going in on this. I seem to remember this being quite a difficult place, and I was on a lower difficulty last time I was playing the game. I didn't get much further than this, actually. But yeah, it was a very difficult place. So we need to go all the way to Redick's hold. Okay, confront Lord Raedric the 8th. No, 7th inside Redick's.
What does the flame reveal?
Well, let's explore the outsides first. Because there's no reason to go in until we have to go in.
Be on your guard.
Okay, okay. So that's Redick's keep over there, presumably. Over the moat. Let's keep heading up. Oh, some little leaves to get. And some river reeds. Seems clear enough to me. Okay, and we could head up those vines if we wanted to, if we want to head up to the top bit. I didn't mean to pause, I just Was trying to get it to go quicker. Suppose we don't need to sneak over here because we already know where everything is. Just in case there are any enemies around. Oh, there's a guard. Tlitlan. The guard fixes a glower on you. You have no business here. Lord Redrick is not permitting any visitors, merchants, or travelling entertainers. He sneers. Best turn right around. I'm here to see Redrick. Step aside. The guard snorts. Are you hard of hearing? He draws his sword. You got one more chance to turn around. The guard inside won't be half as gentle. Well, I'll be leaving then. Goodbye.
Laying low.
We'll just leave those two to their business. No reason to get in any fights with them. At least not yet. Okay, let's keep heading along. Now, we knew that there was a secret way in. We just don't know... Like, we were given some details about it. Is it along here? Because we could go up the top, but that's not the best way in. We're told we will go and check if we don't find it. Like, there was a tunnel into the sewers, I think. Something like that. Oh, some more reeds. It would definitely be over here. Oh, we can go over this little bit of a bridge. I see. And that gives us our route in. I'm going to quick save. We're going to head on in. Set into the base of the keep's outer wall, a sewer grate spills murky, foul-smelling wastewater into the keep's surrounding moat. Slick, mossy stones form a precarious bridge across the murky water. Ahead, the iron bars of the sewer grate block passage. The bars are coated with rust and several appear bent or sit at strange angles. They may have been weakened enough that you could bend them, given the means. Or we'll use our pry bar. The constant rush of foul water against the grate makes maneuvering difficult, but you manage to place the pry bar between two of the more heavily rusted bars and give it a heavy push. With a groan, one of the iron bars begins to give. You heave, and at last the bar snaps free of its base with a crunch. Beyond the broken grate, a dark passage leads further into the keep. Murky water flows through it in a continuous stream. Let's swim through. You take a deep breath to forestall the acrid stench around you. You slip forward into the flooded tunnel. The walls soon fade from your view as you plunge into a foreboding darkness. As you swim on, light begins to filter through the murky water ahead of you. You press on, seeking out the source, until you find yourself standing beneath a circular gap in the tunnel. A way out. Okay, we're in. Okay, we could head out that way again if we wanted to.
What does the flame reveal?
Let's sneak in. See if we've got anything around here. So we got this kind of sewer bit there. Let's check our map. So we're in kind of the bottom right. Got a couple of doors we could open. Or we could keep going along the sewer itself. I say we clear out the doors as we come to them.
I'll have this open in no time.
Yeah. Alright. Nothing else to find here apart from this box. The Edir Empire Part 1. Okay. In approximately 2200 A1? AI? I still haven't quite worked that one. That must be A1. A group of tribes called the People of the Deer unified into a new civilization called the Edir Kingdom. The tribes, small and widespread over the new land, knew it would be better for their continued existence to unify. The leaders of each tribe became advisors to the king chosen by the group. Each advisor would still lord over his people, but each lord would answer to the Fair Koning, first king. This decision turned out to be exactly what was needed, and the Edirian kingdom thrived, spreading out over the land, establishing strong trade routes, and became known to be fair but shrewd businessmen. While the country thrived and internally there was little strife, there were still occasional skirmishes with the neighbouring elven kingdom of Kulklin. Not long after the kingdom was formed, the Edirian people began studying Animancer. Still largely unknown at that time, it was an exciting, terrifying new realm that Edirian scholars saw great potential in. This potential came to bear fruit in 2260 A1, when a group of Animancers working together transferred the soul of a recently departed man into another body, creating the first of what would later be known as the Undead. The reaction to this discovery was swift and decisive. Both the King of Edir and the churches of Wodaka condemned this event, and the study or practice of animancy was outlawed. It would never again be practiced openly on Edirian soil. Conflicts with Coquelin continued, escalating into a minor war in 2398 AI. Afterwards, a treaty was signed and the Kingdom of Edir merged with Coquelin to form the Edir Empire. With the political and military strife now ended, the Edir Empire would become an economic powerhouse. Able to provide resources that were hard to find in other parts of the world, their trade routes became some of the most lucrative in the world. Okay, a little bit more info about where Aloth came from. Still doesn't seem quite what we needed from down here, but that's fine. We can head in this door. It's not locked, so I'm expecting a fight. Corridor.
What this is?
Ooh, a trap. Definitely seems like your job to go first here and get rid of that trap. There we go. We will move all up. Just keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. What is that? Revenant vessel. Okay, get it. Oh, there's a whole bunch of vessels coming. Durance, your thing hurts vessels, right? Does extra damage against vessels. Perfect. I see, hit
How may I
one.
help?
Then vessel murder. Right, we need to switch to our crossbow and just stick back crossbow. You got your vessel murder happening yet?
Not even slowing it down.
There we go. Whole bunch of them. We're gonna hit our AoE raw damage onto the middle of this.
That's it.
Okay. Edir seems to be doing quite well, blocking with his shield. Let's get another hit in here.
Leave it.
There we go. We'll stay back
Death
and
to
just
our
fire in.
enemies.
Yep. Durance, anything that you want to be doing? Probably not. Hit the Revenant, I suppose. Knock down the Revenant before he knocks you down if you can. Yeah, we did it. Okay. Perfect. Oh, Aloth should be attacking. There we go. That was actually pretty well done. I really like fighting vessels right now. It's good for us. Okay, let's read up on these new things. So we have gulls. It is generally understood that gulls retain enough cunning to make dangerous hunters and adversaries, but not enough to be concerned about their rapid deterioration. Like dargulls, they are drawn to secluded environments, although some gravitate towards cemeteries in search of readily available flesh. The meat of dead kith satisfies some of the gulls' hunger, does little to sate their need for soul essence. Inhabiting a graveyard may actually hasten a gull's decay, so it reduces their incentive to seek out living sources of food. Okay. What's the other one? A revenant. It must be a part of something else. Was it like, oh, is it a sub-wit or something? I don't see it. Is it a sub-skeleton? No. Shadow? Also, what are gulls weak to? Gulls are weak to... We do not know, but they have 0 DR, which is interesting. Not a Zurup. They're not a wolf, I'd hope. Not a wisp. Not a witch. Not a troll. Not a spore. Not a spider. Not a skulder. Not a skeleton. Not a shadow. Not an ooze. A lurker. Nope. Gull. Nope. Boar. Nope. Bear. No. Okay, so we just know nothing about it. I guess we got no info on revenants there. Therefore, didn't get an entry. Interesting. Oh, and this is where the water goes. I guess that was a way to bypass it if you go through the corridor. Maybe. Okay. Let's see what we got in here. Ooze. Okay. Okay, we'll stay away from the ooze for just now. Just want to kind of explore sensibly. I'll definitely go get that.
Hey.
There we go. Very easy to disarm traps. Okay. We know there's a room there. There's the ooze. We might as well fight it. What's the ooze weak to? Probably don't know. No clue. Unstealth. Go hit the ooze. You know, if it's a damage reduction of 9, that might just be it though. Olaf should probably just second wind now. Just in case. Edier should go for the hit with the door. That should be dead. Okay. You might want to stick. Actually, I think we'll stick with the crossbow. I was going to say we might want to switch back,
right,
but
then.
if we're going to be fighting
Light,
corridors,
flame,
then
and
maybe the
sound.
crossbow might work better.
We'll keep to ourselves.
Okay, seems clear. What about in here? Ladder up, so this could be a quick
Found
way
it.
up into the castle. Trap detected. Okay, got rid of it. We got Healing Hands. Properties Minor Spellbind, Restore Light Endurance. Okay. 3 per rest. I think that's going to be best on a Loth. Now hear me out. You might be like, a Loth? That doesn't make sense. Why would it be good on a Loth? Well, I think that it would work off of intelligence. Is intelligence, I think. Intellect, maybe? But I think that would be what the heal would be based off of. And even if it's not, he's still going to be ranged. It's a reasonable. I think it's going to be a larger range attack, and he can just chuck it into fights. While Durance already has plenty heals, Edier already does, he's got a job. He has to just sit in the front of the fight. And we are kind of our damage, so we don't want to be doing anything other than damage right now.
Leave it to
an ooze.
me.
What's the ooze doing here? Oh, that's not good.
Hey.
Go in there. Right, Edier. Hit it. Well, use your knockdown because it does extra damage, but not any other reason. Go hit it. Actually, just use Holy Radiance. There we go. Hit it. Aloth, hit it. There we go. Luckily, Durance can attack over the back of Edier, which kind of works for us. Almost down. Right, we got the ooze. Right, we didn't
Let's
really
see
need to
what's
do
in
anything
here.
with that. Let's open the door for free because we have really high mechanics. We have a human skeleton. Let's go get it.
That's it.
Okay. Holy Radiance. Skeletons are dead. Go get the Revenant. They definitely look like witches. But we'll see. We'll see if that's what they really are. They also look like they could be skeletons. We'll knock them over. There we go. Should fall any moment now.
Let's have it.
There we go.
Hey.
Nice and simple. Any info on Revenants yet? Nope. Maybe we have to wait for the fight to be over? No, Revenants we're just not getting any info on.
Hey.
Interesting. We'll pick up all of that, obviously.
I shall be discreet.
Ooh, we found something. We found a Cloak of Deflection. I think everyone might have a cloak by now, actually, but we'll grab that. Head out a little
I'll
bit
have
further.
this open in no time, as promised.
Definitely break through here. Seems clear. Oh, who are you?
I'll have
we'll
this
let
open
you
in
out.
no time.
Hey, what's up? Gayako. This young man's face is badly bruised, his gaunt form covered in threadbare shirt. He watches you, shivering, with a measure of hope in his eyes. I don't know who you are, but will you help me? Gods, what have people become in this place? He gazes nervously past you at the open cell door. I don't think I can fight my way out. I take it you ended up here after assaulting the keep with Kolsk and his men? Yes. He looks away. It seemed a good plan. We got in without incident and I knew the way, but we're surprised in the dungeons and most of us... Gayako shudders. You'll have seen some of them, fought them, their bodies, at least, not their minds anymore, but their souls. The woman down here, Raedric's Animancer, her name is Orissa. I've heard her speaking sometimes, talking about a cure. Lord Redick calls on her often, but she's not curing anyone. She's only turned men and women into monsters. He shudders. I watched her take the others. I was sure I'd be next. Olaf shakes his head. Men and women turn to this evil to cure hollowborn madness. Tell me about, is it, yeah, Osria? Osria, maybe? There's something not right about her. I have a bad feeling. I mean, I knew the moment she arrived, things would take a turn for the worse. He shivers. There's nothing good comes with dealing with Animancers. Unnatural, a lot of them. She's the one who transformed them, changed my friends into monsters. She said she was doing it for the good of Gilded Vale. Gakko clenches a fist. More like the good of her coin purse and her sick curiosity. She's dangerous, and who knows what else she's got in her laboratory. I wouldn't go in there. She has a convincing manner. Spell snowed out. This place is still dangerous. Wait here for now. Gakko nods hurriedly, swallowing. Of course, I'll stay here until you give the word. Alright.
I shall be discreet.
We'll leave him be.
Give it to me!
Also, interesting he was left alive. I assume it was just... it's meant to be like he was just kept alive for testing.
Alright then.
Maybe there's another... that was awful. Especially as we already noticed it. Right. Let's get these ones. Another trap that we didn't notice this time. Oh, okay. There we go. Heal everyone. The Revenants did not die instantly from that. We still don't have information on the Revenants.
Hey.
Maybe we get that from a different source. Maybe it's just it's not common knowledge.
Dark places.
Maybe all of our knowledge here is like, this is common knowledge that you should know if you've met one of these things. But for Revenants, it's like, we don't know anything.
Damn it! We gotta take better care of Aloth.
Yeah. Let's have a rest. I almost wonder whether it would be better having a different setup for when we're exploring this dungeon. Just so that we can spot everything before it actually, like, all turns bad. I don't know. We'll see. Please don't die right after we've had our break. That would not go well.
This fight is mine!
Yep. Come on, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Interesting that Aloth doesn't attack with the rest of them.
Alright then.
Quick and quiet.
Okay, we'll wait for the health to come back. Head in. Get the ooze. That's a lot of oozes. Okay. Okay. Aloth, step back. Let Durance in. Durance needs to do that. Okay, we can step in. They appear to be weak to freezing. Okay, well that's useful to know. That might be what we're after here then.
That's not very...
There we go. Got our freezing going. Should work. Then start putting damage on top. You definitely need to heal. Use the second wind. You also use second wind. Okay, keep hitting the black ooze.
That's not very
Okay.
helpful.
Okay. What else can you do, Aloth? Could get you to drop another ice one on the others. You see? Yep. Okay. It's not too bad. That one's dead. Second black ooze will hit. You've already used your second one. Let's move you back, Durance. Let's switch you out. We'll tag in us with the sword. Okay. Durance, you need to just like get out of there. Okay. Eddy your head over. Try and knock him out. I'm not sure what we want to do here. Probably want to run you in, chuck attacks over on the black ooze.
Yeah?
Maybe we also want to just come and attack the black ooze. Can we just run through this area? Oh, it's not got anything on it anymore. There we go. Stop the ranged attacks, which seem to be the bulk of their damage. Okay. Attack that black ooze. Okay. It's down. We can now bring
All right,
Eddie
then.
back a little bit. A Loth should be
Yes.
attacking this one. Okay. We got it.
Hey.
Cool. All of us should be re-merged over here. Grab the loot. All the loot. Gonna do a quick save because we're all a bit low on health. We got this pile which has some bloodstones in
I
it.
shot.
Okay, this is a pretty big area.
Hey.
Alright, let's keep heading along. So that's the prison area. That's to the lower ramparts. That's to the moat. There's more to explore over there and there's more to explore over here. I almost want to just camp again. I think we're going to camp again. The reason I wanted to camp again was just to get that health up. Because I believe when the health drops to 0, they actually die. Which would be bad. Obviously.
Yeah, I've got something over here.
Traps. Okay, go get the traps. One at a time. Okay. Okay, that leads to a door. Doesn't go anywhere else. Oh, this definitely needs a quick save. Okay. We got one crate that has camping supplies. Good. Got another door.
I'll have this open in no time.
A mechanics
As
check
promised.
chest, which gives you armor, which is not very good, I don't think. Okay, what have we got over here? Warbow and some more gold. That then leads to its own room, which kind of looks like a central room for the whole area, which might mean that that's like the big bad's room. This might also be their room. No, this is the way. Okay, so this is the way up to the keep kitchen. Okay. Okay, nobody knows that we're actually in the keep yet, which is nice. What's along here? So, we reckon this might be the central room. This is definitely a central room. Okay. Okay. Eddie, in.
Ready when
You step back.
you are.
Durance, step back. Holy Radiance. Eddie,
Hey.
go for it. Okay. Wait. Is that a
Ready
Loth
when you
that's
are.
right in next to them?
Indeed.
Yeah, Loth doesn't want to be in next to them. We want to be in next to them. As does Durance. A Loth wants to chuck in his attack over the top.
Aye?
There we go. Perfect. That's working much better.
That's it! Let's
There we
have
go.
it out!
And now they're all dead. Wasn't too bad, actually. Apart from sludge on the ground. which
Quick and
seems to
quiet.
hurt. Get all of that. The tank is warm to the touch. The last vibrates of the bubbling fluid inside. Blood and flecks of dried flesh encrust the restraints. Oh, okay. Minor missiles and some copper. Okay. The fangs. Okay, we'll work against the elements, some money. As I have stated, not much is known about this group by the world at large because they don't welcome outsiders into their number. While many believe they are xenophobic and only openly hostile to those who enter Landvath, the truth doesn't seem to be as broad or as deadly, and certainly not that simple. There are many places in Landvath that could be called magical or sacred to the Landvathans. One legend states that the Ingwathans, who had suddenly abandoned their kingdom and left for places unknown, took the time to guide the ancient Landvathan tribes to the now vacant land. The Landvathans were gifted with fertile areas, their new homeland, but in return for being given such a gift, an oath was required. The Landvathans were instructed to protect the Ingwithan ruins until such a time as they could return and reclaim the ruins. They were required to swear that no living person, including the Landvathans themselves, would be permitted entrance into the ruins. Different accounts suggest that the Landvathans were promised more than a homeland, and that the Ingwithans were the favoured people of the gods, and that keeping their oaths would confer similar benefits to the Landvathans in the end. Oddly, the rules do not seem to apply as strictly within the borders of the Twin Elms, a site built upon the concentration of Gwenthathan structures. But it would seem that this is unlikely a selective oversight on the part of the Glenfathans and more probably part of the terms of the original compact. In any case, the Glenfathans came to take their role as guardians seriously, revering the sites and developing rituals designed to protect and guard the ruins. Over time, these rituals became rote formality to some, as much legend and superstition as any other stories passed down. This is not to say that Glenfathans ceased all attempts to uphold their oath, see the section about the 10-year treaties in my book about Admeth Hadret, but the intense devotion to the oath tended to vary from tribe to tribe and clan to clan. Not so with the Fangs, however. The Fangs are a group joined not by ties of kinship, not even community, but of belief. Of all the groups of Erdlanfath, it's the Fangs who seem most intent on keeping the promise their ancestors made to the Ingwithans. Just because their fanaticism and zeal are not as widely sweeping as many think does not make them any less dangerous. The Fangs are not known to reason with those they view as transgressors. If they feel you have in any way violated the sanctity of the sacred place, their judgment is swift and exact. Reports of Fang attacks can be found in records dating back to the first colonial explorations of Erdlanfath, and even the smallest of a perceived slight can be worthy of execution. The Order itself seems to consist mainly of hunters. Whether they are recruited as skilled hunters or trained once they gain access to the Order, it is unknown. From all accounts, once they join the Fangs, hunting a game falls second behind patrolling Erdlanfath and protecting the ruins, so it is the author's opinion that it is the former. Okay. So I'm guessing we were attacked by the Fangs, or at least that's what it's hinting, when we were first attacked. It's interesting. I guess this is our door that we can go through, so let's head on. Oh, wow. Okay, this does not look good if we have to fight. A woman, caught mid-step across the room, turns her head to face you. Long curls of black hair frame her face, one side of which is flecked with some green liquid. The gaze she sets upon you holds an eerie intensity. More interruptions. The woman sets down the book she holds, smiling faintly. What an interesting time we're having of late. So many uninvited guests. I suppose I have you to thank for all the damage to my work. It took time to get those people back on their feet, you know. Osria. We'll go for Osria. Frowns. What is it you're doing here? Okay, so we have a whole bunch. We can say we've come to see Lord Redick. Who are you? Were those yours? I prefer cats myself. Or we can use our perception. Let's use our perception. Lord Redick sent me to check on your progress. Oria? Osria. That's a really weird name. Osria regards you coldly for a moment. At last she throws her arms up in the air in frustration. Of course he did. I thought I'd have a few days at least before he resumed his growling. If Lord Redick wishes to see swifter progress, then perhaps he might deign to provide the materials I need. Does he think he is the only one growing impatient? I am gifted with this, she gestures to the room. Pitiful little laboratory, and he expects miracles. And meanwhile, that old wretch, that useless priest, has the whole of the upper keep to himself. And what does he provide? Superstition and useless advice. She lets out an angry gust of air. Very well, look upon my progress. I made what use of filthy cohorts I was able. Tell Redick I'll have more useful information once I have been given adequate time for study, she snorts. If you're lucky, it won't hang you in my place. Shh. Okay. I mean, what can we have a look at? I guess we can just look at the wizards. Okay, so what have we got? We got revenants, we got a flesh construct, we got a skeletal wizard. We got a black cat. Can we talk to the black cat? Oh, we gotta do this. At first you think the poor creature is diseased, for its black fur seems to have fallen off its hide in patches. But when the cat turned to investigate a fly on the wall, you note the entire section of the rib cage is open to the air. Some of its tail is rusted away altogether to reveal a few jagged vertebrae. This doesn't seem to bother the cat much. It lets out a trilling purr and rubs against your shin. Let's pet the cat. You spend a few pleasant moments scratching the cat between the ears. Black fur comes away in clumps. Let's pick it up. You pick up the surprisingly light and unexpectedly pointy creature. It purrs contentedly in your arms. I believe we have just stolen a cat. That would be correct, yes. We have stolen a cat. Okay. Now, I know this is a fight. So we want to do the fight. How are we going to do the fight?
Hey.
Well, we want Edier ideally to be the one in the room.
What?
We want Durance to be right behind him.
Yeah?
We want to be crossbow at start,
Not a problem.
kind of behind that. And we want Aloft to be here. So something like this is what
Hey.
we're after. So
Course.
we'll send Edier in. Hello. Do move along. Redric's demanding fellow and I have much to do. We could just go for the hit. Okay. Durance, I'm going to need you to stand in the center of the room.
Hey.
You take one more
What?
step forward. Stand one more
Ready
step
when you
forward.
are. Not a problem.
We want to be on the wizard, I think, with the sword. And we
Yes.
want Aloft to be here.
Just say the word.
Okay, you ready?
Hey.
3, 2, 1, hit. Probably should have saved. Realizing that right away that we probably should have saved. Okay, hit the wizard. Durance, Holy Radiance.
Ready when you are.
There we go. Ton of damage down. We've got some damage down on the wizard. Aloth. How do these guys feel about ice? They have a stronger resistance to ice. Okay. Let's put down our oil. So we're probably going to stick down our oil here. Are we in range to cast? We're not in range to cast. Alright, so we'll cast this
How
one
may I
first. Okay. Step a few steps in. Oil. Want it to hit those ones. Okay. Okay, Durance. We need you to do something. Durance, we need you to do something desperate and quick. Okay. Restore light energy, maybe. Maybe repulsion thing right down there. Skeleton Wizard is almost down. Durance needs to live himself, that's the problem. I guess we have to use Consecrated Ground. There we go. That gives us the heal. So we have fallen. Aloth needs to be able to kill that Skeletal Wizard. Unless we do
Yes.
this. Oh, there we go. Just hit everything at once. That's not good. We almost won the fight, though. You, like, Grimoire slam him? Edier, you're pretty much on your own here.
Hey. Kinda stuck over here.
I need you to attack that gull. There we go. Loth. Oh wow, you got hit so much by the wizard. I was right, the wizard is a problem.
Lovaru
Yeah, he's down.
Arsec, Worden, Rock.
Okay. That's not good. Edier, it's all down to you. Kinda need to kill that wizard. Okay, so use your extra health. Kill the Revenant.
Lovaru.
Kill the Revenant. Just kill it. It's not that hard. Kill it. One more hit. There we go. Now that you're not targeted on anything, you can sneak around here and we can get the wizard. Get the wizard. One more hit. One more hit. Okay.
Arsec,
Take the
Worden,
disengage
Rock.
action. Not that he even hits. Okay. Knock him over. Hit. Get her. So wizard versus a warrior. Should be easy for us. We're hitting for some damage. We're Definitely hitting for some damage. Okay, again. He has really high deflection, which is helping out here. And if he hits, he does a lot of damage. And he has constant regeneration as well. That's nice. Okay, keep going. We also have a potion of minor regeneration, which we might want to pop. There we go. Minor regeneration gives us even more endurance over time. Right. Maybe Osiria? Osiria? I'm trying to figure out the name. Okay, Flesh Construct. We should be able to beat it, I imagine. One-on-one. This is Edier's, like, this is where he shines. This thing is gonna die. Yeah, it's badly injured. Edier's not even gone down once. He's in prime of his life. It's not gonna fall to this Flesh Construct. He's actually healing while fighting it. Yeah. 50% chance to hit does some damage if he can actually get a good hit on. Okay. Okay, well, we got interrupted. There are additional effects, apparently, that can land. Okay, we're still healing, though, which is nice. It's taken a while. We got it down to badly injured. We're getting a lot of information about a Flesh Construct, though. A ton of information about it. Because of how long the fight's been going on. Alright, we managed to interrupt it and did a lot of damage. It shouldn't have that much health left. It's near death. Okay. We are still getting healed. Oh, we got a good hit in there with our bash. Okay. Almost got enough to kill it. Okay, a little bit more. 6 more damage. Okay. He can't have that much more health. Surely. Did 1 damage. 8 more. Well, next hit must be death. Yeah. We did it. Whew. I was worried that I made a big mistake in not saving before that fight. So what do we get? We got a grimoire. Perfect. We also got a rod and a whole bunch of flesh and a rusted iron cell key. Okay. We also got that. Let's see what we've learned. So skeletal wizard is just a thing that exists. Okay. Construct. Flesh construct. What is a construct? Like animates, flesh constructs are created by animancers empowered by a captive soul. Unlike animates, they are not dependent on the will and loyalty of the bound soul. Flesh constructs, therefore, cannot be undone by doubt, but they are only capable of following simple instructions. They also tend to be shorter lived than animates, whereas the energy and faith in an animate's soul can sustain it for decades, even centuries. The soul bound to a flesh construct will gradually fade away from its physical form, and the body will eventually stop responding to the soul's energy. Opponents of animancy in general, and soul constructs in particular, see this as a soul's rejection of an improper body, and as evidence that flesh constructs are an abomination. Even among animancers, the creation of flesh constructs is controversial. Some see the process as a soul lobotomy, and believe that a soul should be allowed to pass on to the next life rather than being used as mindless fuel for a body. Okay. Did we get anything else? No. I don't think there's anything else we could have got in here. Unless we got anything on Revenants, but we still haven't got anything on Revenants. So, let's start seeing what else we picked up. So we picked up the Grimoire. That's important. What have you got in your new Grimoire? So, level 3 spells. Caster becomes a living generator for a powerful bolt of electricity that streaks out in a straight line and bounces off walls, harming anything caught in its path. And Fireball. Wow. Burn damage to all those in the area of effect. Can we learn these? How much gold do we have? That's a good question. Our current gold level, where would we even find that? Is it inventory? Oh, there we go. 17,000. Just because I know that Grimoire stuff costs gold levels, so. If we were to try and learn Fireball, it would cost 300 copper. Okay. So we'll learn both of those. We then have Corrosive Siphon that steals some essence. We have Binding Web. I don't think we need any of the rest. I think it's fine. What I do want to know is whether I can put those spells into his actual grimoire that he uses. Level 3? I can, yeah. Okay. But he probably has no spell usage of them. Yeah, he has no level 3 spells. I see. If he was to use the other grimoire, I don't suppose that would fix it, would it? He still has no level 3 spells. Okay. Let's put his proper one back in. Okay.
Nice and quiet.
Okay, where is everyone?
Quick and quiet.
Well, I think that was all we picked up in terms of loot, right? Oh, we have these capes I haven't ever dealt with, but they're neck items. I think everyone already had a neck item, which is why I wasn't dealing with it. Yeah. We do have some capes that give will and that give deflection, but we don't need to worry about that. Alright, what's in this chest? We got a fine stiletto and not much else. Over here, we got a book, The Dyrwood Part 6, The Saints' War and Waidwen's Legacy. In 2807, war returned to the Dyrwood. Saint Waidwen, transformed supposedly into a living incarnation of Aethys, marched on the Dyrwood from Redick, beginning the Saints' War. The Dyrwood rallied at Halgot Citadel and took the battle to him in Redcerus, attempting to prevent as much damage to their own land as they could. Even though there was devastating losses for the Dyrwoodian forces, using Hadred's military techniques combined with Galvin Reg's strategies, they were able to secure a few victories for themselves as well. Redcerian forces made their way into the Dyrwood through the White March, unopposed by the locals at Cold Morn, leaving Mercy Vale burned and devastated. The contempt the Dyrwoodians have for Cold Morn for this betrayal lasts well after the war ends. Desperate to end the war and eliminate Saint Waidwen, the Magicka clergy of Dyrwood developed a special bomb that was hidden beneath the bridge at Halgot Citadel, intending to lure Waidwen to the bridge and then detonate it. Their ploy succeeded and Saint Waidwen was completely destroyed along with most of the forces with him and the entire bridge. The 12 Dyrwoodian men and women who volunteered to delay Saint Waidwen on the bridge were also lost, their sacrifice and martyrdom celebrated by the Dyrwood in the ensuing years. The bomb would come to be known as the Godhammer, and soon after the battle, the citadel was renamed the Godhammer Citadel. Saint Waidwen's forces were easily routed after his death, and the Dyrwood set about rebuilding from the first major conflict in over a century. In retaliation for Saint Waidwen's actions on Aethys' part, many Aethesian followers were purged from the Dyrwoodian communities or driven out via social pressure. Less than a year after the devastation of the Saints' War, tragedy hit again. In 2809, the first hollowborn were reported in the Dyrwood. Many of these poor creatures died within weeks or months of being born. The outcry from the populace calls for blame or punishment to be levied against someone, whether it be the gods, the mothers, the government, or the Aethesian followers. Responding to great socio-political pressure to try and help the hollowborn, Animancers developed a process to transplant animal souls into the infants, that they might develop survival instincts and even a basic personality. The process seemed successful, so it was repeated on tens of thousands of hollowborn, even though many Animancers disagreed with the technique, worried about the ethical implications. These protests were largely ignored and discounted. The process was soon named Salvation, and the hollowborn given souls were this way were called the Saved. 5 years after the hollowborn, an Orlane girl is saved. She entered puberty. In a matter of mere weeks, she transformed into a ravenous feral creature devoid of all consciousness. Soon, all of the saved would experience the same fate. Each one, upon reaching puberty, would transform into what locals called witches, uncontrollable children. After researching the problem, Animancers discovered the incompatibility between the animal soul and the children's bodies. This fueled the parents' anger, as many of them had to kill their witch children. The Animancers responsible were widely denounced, and many of them were dragged from their homes, beaten, and in many cases, killed. Most surviving Animancers left rural areas en masse and headed to Defiance Bay. Others left the area completely, moving to the Valian republics to study in peace. Okay, so we already knew most of that. And her other bookshelf? Money. You know what? That's good. And I think that that is a good point to end the episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.